This podcast is brought to you by Contessa Digital.
If you want to have a healthy relationship, one of the first things that you need to get in your mind, in your mindset, is this idea that nice people, nice girls, nice guys, they always finish last. And this is valuable for you to know whether you consider yourself to be a nice guy or nice girl, or whether you are dealing with someone who considers themselves to be a nice guy or nice girl. Welcome to Confidently Cherished. This is my podcast. My name is Keshia Rice, and I am a dating coach and hypnotherapist. I teach women how to heal from their unhealthy relationship patterns and attract healthy, loving, cherished relationships. So, talking about this idea of nice people finishing last. Whenever I meet someone, especially when I was single and dating, but even now when I'm just meeting someone in general, one of my biggest red flags is if a person wants to tell me how nice they are. First of all, when someone is usually something, they don't need to tell you all about it. Most rich people don't need to tell you how rich they are. People who are really good looking, who are really attractive, don't spend all their time going around trying to convince other people that they are attractive. And that also goes with nice girls and nice guys. Nice people don't spend their time going around telling you how nice they are. But there's some bigger problems with it other than just the whole, a nice person doesn't need to tell you that they're nice. Beyond that, when a person is nice, they're really not. Being nice all the time is typically a trauma response. It is a response to wanting to be a people pleaser, wanting to make others happy all the time. And, there can be plenty of reasons for this. Maybe, when you were a child, you had to fight hard to get attention from your parent or your guardian. So now you do all of these things in order to get attention, get love from other people. Maybe you had some terrible relationships early on in your dating life that color you now. But either way, being nice all the time is typically a response to people pleasing, which is unhealthy, unattractive, and we're going to go over some of the reasons why. So, first of all, when you are constantly being nice to other people, it is manipulative behavior. Whether or not you are intentionally trying to be manipulative, you are. And the reason why is because look at the intention. So you say that you do all these things for other people, you make all these sacrifices, you are really careful about what you say, you try so hard to keep the peace and not rock the boat. And you say it's because you're nice. But what you're doing is you are trying to elicit a certain response from other people. Your niceness comes from a place of, well, if I sacrifice my wants and needs this time, then maybe this person will care about me more, will love me more, will appreciate me more. And then in the future, they will show the love and, care and cherishedness that I'm trying to give them. If I am nice, they will be nice to me, and then we can both be happy. Okay, this is not going to work. And for starters, you can't give people more of what they don't appreciate, right? So if you are being so nice and kind and giving and all of these things to someone and they're not reciprocating, it's because they don't want to. And doing more of it is not really going to change their minds. Now, they may take advantage. They may hang out, they may stay in this relationship with you because they're benefiting from it, but it doesn't mean that you're going to get the reciprocity that you need. But beyond that, when you decide to delve into this behavior of being nice all the time in hopes that other people are going to give it back, again, you're not showing the real you. And one of the things that I'm always telling my clients is that people can only love you at the level that you love yourself. So when you show, when you look at your behavior towards other people and, what you tolerate, what you accept, you are teaching people how to treat you. And if you are constantly bending over backwards for people, constantly letting them get away with things that don't align with your boundaries, if you're constantly putting your feelings aside for their feelings, what you are teaching these people is that it is okay for them to walk all over you. It is okay for them to treat you however they feel like treating you, and you will tolerate it and you will put up with it. So this being nice is not serving you at all. Also, in that realm of you teach people how to love you and how to treat you, it's important that you teach people who the real you is. And again, if you're so concerned with being nice all the time, you're not speaking up for yourself. You're not making your boundaries and your standards known. So even if someone does truly care about you and they want to treat you well, they can't because they don't know the you that they need to be treating well. They don't know you well enough to, adhere to the things that you like, adhere to your wants and needs and desires in the relationship, because you don't show those things. You're too busy constantly trying to make them happy and put on your best face in order to keep a relationship that, because you're not showing up authentically, it's not even a real relationship. The other problem with constantly being nice to people is that eventually you are going to get tired of not having your needs met. You are going to get tired of always bending over backwards for other people. You are going to be tired of all your care and consideration not being reciprocated. Eventually, that is going to lead to you being resentful towards this other person. It's going to lead to you to being bitter. And once you reach that point, you're not going to treat them so well. So all this effort that you put into being nice, into making them happy, eventually both of you are going to be miserable because you're not having your needs and your wants and your desires met. And this person is going to stop having their needs and desires met by you once you get fed up of having to constantly give them their way. So how do we fix this? How do we stop being so nice to other people and get and attract the relationships that we want? The key to that is you want to remember that you never want to be nice. You want to be kind. Here's the difference. A kind person is considerate. A kind person is compassionate. A kind person does think about other people's feelings. A kind person is measured with their words and how they say things. At the same time, a kind person has boundaries. A kind person has standards. A kind person does not deal with people who aren't in alignment with those boundaries and those standards. A kind person will let you know when you have disappointed them, when you have angered them, when you've done something that doesn't make them feel good in a relationship. Now, they will do it in a way that is considerate. They will do it in a way that is measured. But again, the difference between being a nice person and being a kind person comes down to intention. A nice person says, I'm going to go out of my way and sacrifice myself, sacrifice my wants and needs to make other people happy, because I hope that in doing so, I can manipulate them into giving me that same treatment someday, eventually, right? A kind person says, I care about the people in my life. I want happy, healthy relationships, and I also love myself. So I'm focusing on creating relationships in which I can be myself, show up as myself, and invite people into having great connection with me, good memories, good times, great conversations, all of that. But from a place of we both have our needs met, we both have our desires met, and we're also not afraid of being open and honest with each other and expressing our wants, our desires, and our feelings. So, for an example, let's say you have a schedule where, because of your sleep, because you want to get a certain number of hours of sleep, you need to be in bed by a certain time every night. Let's say you need to be in bed at 10 o'clock every night, and you start dating someone and that person keeps trying to call you at 11. If you are nice, what you'll do is you'll accept those phone calls every night at 11 because they're busy. They say that's the best time they can call you, whatever. It's just an extra hour, never mind the fact that then if you spend an hour on the phone with them, you're now 2 hours past your bedtime. But you just go ahead and accept that because you're nice. What will end up happening is eventually you're going to be pissed about the fact that you are constantly missing out on sleep. The day is going to come where you're going to snap at them. You're not going to be so friendly about it. And then this person's going to be like, well, what did I do? All I did was talk to you on the phone. Like, why are you mad at that? Because you never spoke up for your feelings. You never set that boundary and enforced it and said, hey, for real, I go to bed at 10 o'clock, so don't call me after that time. Meanwhile, that's what a kind person would have done. A kind person would have made that boundary known. Hey, I really like you. I enjoy getting to know you, but I go to bed at 10. I do not answer the phone past 10 p.m. And I would love to talk to you. I would love to get to know you better, but it needs to be before that time. There's nothing mean in saying that. That was perfectly kind. You let them know that you have a reason. You let them know what your boundary is. If that person respects you, they will honor the boundary. And if they don't respect you, you don't need to be in a relationship with them anyways. Why would you want to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't respect you? So the difference between nice and kind is understanding that it comes from different places of your heart. Again, niceness comes from a fear that if you aren't constantly people pleasing, you're going to lose people. It's a scarcity mindset. It's not understanding that this world has 8 billion people in it, and you will find the tribe that's meant for you. And not just in dating and romantic relationships. I always tell my clients that all relationships are related. So if you are having issues with your romantic relationships, I can pretty much guarantee you're also having issues with parents, with other family members, with friends, at your job. So when you set these boundaries and you make them known and you come from a place of kindness instead of niceness, people respect you and they treat you accordingly. When you're so focused on being nice all the time, people walk all over you. People don't treat you the way that you want to be treated, even if they have good intentions. Because again, if you're not speaking up for yourself, they don't know that you have a problem. So they may not be intentionally trying to harm you or intentionally trying to hurt you, but because you don't speak up, closed mouths don't get fed. They don't know. And when you constantly come from a place of niceness, you are setting up all of your relationships for failure, romantic and otherwise. So it is important that we get rid of this idea of being nice to other people. And I get it. Society has set us up with this is how we're supposed to be. Especially if you are female, society has, set up all these ideas about what nice girls do and nice girls don't, and how we're supposed to behave in a way that is keeping the peace. And whenever I hear that, I want to ask, keeping the peace for who? Because if you're constantly focused on keeping the peace for others, what you're creating is hell and chaos inside of yourself. So you're not keeping peace. You're keeping your own turmoil, your own harm. Again, instead we focus on being kind. So in being kind to others, then yeah, we do think about other people's feelings. It's not a matter of being heartless. And yeah, we are measured and careful in what we say. We think about things before we just spit them out. But at the same time, what we don't do is allow people to walk all over us. What we don't do is allow people to behave in a relationship in ways that aren't aligned with what we want. And, when you start setting boundaries, when you start learning how to be kind and not nice, it does mean that you will lose some relationships. But again, there are 8 billion people on this planet. your tribe, your chosen family, friends, love, all of that will find you. You just have to have that faith that if you are determined to stick to, your authentic self, not compromise on your desires and your needs in a relationship, if you're determined to only allow people in your life who are willing to honor and respect your boundaries, you will find those people. It may take longer. It's not always the easiest thing in the world to do. It's definitely not the most expedient, but it will eventually happen. And again, you have to have that faith. And that faith comes from knowing that you are a kind person. You do care about others. You want to see other people win. You want to see other people succeed. You want to see other people happy, just not at the expense of your own happiness. So again, these are the differences between nice people and kind people, and why nice people always finish last. You're not going to have a healthy relationship if you are so focused on being nice all the time. So, by the way, this live is part of an episode for my podcast, Confidently Cherished. So, if you enjoyed this, first of all, thank you for being here and for listening to me. And second, be sure to find Confidently Cherished wherever you listen to podcasts and share it with someone who it could benefit. I love you so much. I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye. Hey there. So you made it all the way to the end of the episode, which means I have two things to say. One, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. And two, you like me. You really like me. So I would appreciate it if you would show that like by subscribing to this podcast so that more people can hear about it and enjoy it as much as you do. And if you want to know more about any of the links that I mentioned on this episode or any guests that I've had, be sure to go to KeshiaRice.com/links. That's KeshiaRice.com/links. I can't wait to talk to you again in the next episode. So see you then.